They fixed the biggest issue I had with it, the price. All right, what do we have here, Andrew? We have the Segway GT1 shipped to us on a pallet. Yep. This is the GT1 as opposed to the GT2, which we've already reviewed. And if this is anything like its bigger brother, it's going to be a sweet scooter. This box is probably the best shape we've ever seen for a scooter. It's got a couple dings here and there, but in great shape. And this is basically the assembly. Just a handful of screws for the handlebars, attaching to the steering pole, and that's it. So we got about 50% charge. We're going to get this freshly charged, updated, safety gear on, test spin. They've made some changes, in particular, one big change to make this the best scooter under $2,000. So stay tuned, we're gonna talk about the things that we love about it, what we hate about it, and who we think should get this scooter. Raindrops are starting to come down, but we're gonna try to squeeze in this review really quick. It's a Segway GT1. All right, let's do a walkthrough of this Segway GT2 from top to bottom. And it's actually the GT1, not GT2, but it looks just like it, so that's why Jimmy got confused there. GT2. The two main differences, it says 01 instead of 02, and then the other big difference is the display is different. It doesn't have that kind of clear display that you had with the GT2. This is a single motor scooter, but you can even tell just by the looks of it. So those are the big changes, but let's kind of go over a walkthrough of the scooter, and it is a doozy for the price point. When it first was released at $2,800, it was very pricey. Now it's at $1,999, and you can use our coupon for an extra $100 off. But really, for $1,900, this is one of the finest crafted electric scooters we've ever reviewed on the channel. It's starting to rain on us here a little bit. Start off with the waterproof rating. So IPX4, with the right side you have the twist throttle, which I really like. I didn't think I was gonna like a twist throttle because of just standing up. Normally I like twist throttles on motorcycles because you're sitting down, but this is really ergonomic and feels great with zero dead zone on there. So I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It immediately responds to when you twist it. Hydraulic brake levers, the power button's on the right, the mode button to go through the different speed modes, park, eco, sport, and race mode. And you also do have the walk mode as well. The display, as you can see, it's not that passive matrix OLED, but it has the same type of look to it. On the left side, you have a horn, which they've updated, so that's a setting in the app, which is really nice. The previous version, it used to be like that, and it really didn't get people's attention. This can get people's attention, especially if they're in a vehicle. The turn signals can be easily activated with your thumb, and then they time out. You can also turn on the lights with this button that's right next to it, and it's 900 lumens, so pretty decent. And on top of that, the light button also doubles up as a cruise control button. So as you're riding, and if you hit this cruise control button, it'll lock in the speed. On the left side is a rear hydraulic brake lever, and then moving down, we have this awesome folding mechanism. They've put the connection point in the center. You have the double wishbone suspension system, and it's pretty sweet. You'll see the reason why they call it a double wishbone is it looks like two wishbones right here, and you have adjustable dampening. So as you can see, it says go down for fast and up for slow. So you slow it down if you're going to be riding on high speed runs. You can speed it up if you're going to be riding off-road trails. This suspension system is a really sweet design. C-type suspension can just feel washed out and give you those speed wobbles, where the double wishbone suspension feels rock solid at high speeds. My favorite feature about this scooter is that they use 11-inch rubber tires, and these are also self-healing tires. You have a 140mm brake disc, which is surprisingly small for an 11-inch tire, but it's very thick and gets great stopping power. Another thing to bring up is that they mark their bolts. So I do love that you can visually see if your bolts are getting loose. So if that thing's not lined up, you know that the bolt has moved and you should tighten it up. Behind the suspension piece is the charge port, which has a flap and a rubber gasket. So good for keeping that thing water resistant, because that's one of the biggest failure points on scooters. Inside the deck, you have a 50.4 volt system with 20 amp hours. And this deck is massive. Look how big this thing is. My favorite part is it has a really nice kick plate angle. A lot of these kick plates on scooters are too aggressive, they're too high, or they're too small. This is nice and wide and a perfect angle to feel comfortable on long rides. In the rear, you have another adjustable hydraulic dampering where you can change it from slow to fast. Turn signals integrated into the frame.
And one thing, have you noticed, is there's no wires exposed out here. So it's very clean. The only wires are these up here in the front. A brake light in the rear, great fender coverage. You have a 3,000 watt motor, which has a nominal rating of 1,400 watts. Another 140 millimeter brake disc. You can now adjust electric braking and also the regen on the scooter. So you can actually regenerate some power when you go to stop accelerating the scooter. This ambient light, you can adjust the color to red, purple, all sorts of different colors. Let's change it to blue.
Segway, Ninebot, they're making advancements to this scooter even after it's come out. They've improved the scooter through the app. So things from the original GT2 that we reviewed a while back, they've made improvements on that as well as this. At our next stop, we're going to talk about the things that we love about the scooter, followed by the things that we hate about the scooter. All right, let's get going.
I do love that new feature where you can feel the regen kicking in as soon as you let off the throttle. So you can feel it slowing you down. Very similar to if you've ever driven a EV like a Tesla, where you can pretty much not have to use the braking system.
So you'll feel your momentum slowing down as soon as you let go of the throttle. And the cool thing too is when you're doing that, you're actually recharging your batteries. Because there are so few exposed wires, just those two right up at front, when you're going off of drops, curb drops, hitting potholes, speed bumps, you don't get that jangling noise that you do with some of these other scooters. The InMotion RS, that had cables all over the place, and those things would jangle around as you're riding. And so this is kind of refreshing to have something so quiet, so sturdy. As we've been testing it, I mean, the only noise that you can hear is when the suspension is rebounding. I think when it's coming back up, you can hear a little bit of a clunk. Let's see if we can hear that.
Overall, it's a really nice, smooth scooter. Stable at high speeds, great braking, and I love the design of the tires. The shape of this reminds me of a PMT tire. A lot of people pay to upgrade to it. So it's got a nice rounded profile, wide, and they self-heal themselves.
Moving on to the back, the deck nice and wide. So if you have big feet, if you like to move your feet on long rides, this is the scooter for you. Very comfortable, ergonomic kick plate to rest your foot on that also doubles as a handle for you to easily pick the scooter up. The fender does a great job. We've been riding in these rainy conditions. The fender has not let us down. We've been going over puddles, through watery, muddy conditions, no problems.
Look how bright the turn signals are. They are a little bit low, but as you can see, they're very bright. One other sweet feature is you can lock the scooter with the app. Enable guard mode, and then basically when Jimmy goes to turn it on, it won't turn on.
Okay, and so I'm gonna try to turn it on now. Oh, it beeped on me. Oh, and it flashes lock. So it flashes that it's locked. Let's say even though it's locked, I want to walk away with this thinking I'll figure out how to unlock it later. It is completely locked. It will not move. And now an alarm goes off and the lights are flashing. So that's a pretty cool feature. That'll deter some thieves.
To turn it off, you just slide this, and now it's good to go.
Unlocked, it's on, ready to ride. All right, let's keep riding. At our next stop, we're gonna talk about the things that we don't like about the scooter. All right, we're not gonna let this rain throw us off. It's kind of changed the way we filmed this video, but Andrew here is gonna try to hit a top speed on this road. Not bad for a single motor scooter. What top speed did you hit?
It said 38 on the display.
Hitting the advertised speed, a rock solid scooter.
And that's another thing, he's talking about rock solid. One-handed riding on the scooter is so simple. We don't really recommend it, but I feel ultra safe riding one-handed on the scooter.
And that's without a steering damper. So a lot of scooters will come with steering dampers to help with wobbles and stability. This one doesn't need it because it's just inherently so stable. Okay, we found a little cover here, protect us from this rain. Let's talk about the things that we don't like about the GT1.
If you're in race mode and it goes to park mode, there's no memory left. So if you hit on this button to go to walk mode, it'll keep the memory that you were in the last setting of race mode. But if it goes to park mode, then you have to go back over and get back into it by clicking on that 4 times.
Can you explain to the folks what park mode is?
Park mode just automatically engages as soon as you stop. So let's just say like we come rolling in, just stop here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes into park mode. I don't see that being very good at a stoplight, and that's exactly when it's annoying. Yeah, I just came to the stop sign, we're waiting for traffic, and it went into park mode again on me.
I figured out how to get rid of that going into park mode when you stop. If I keep a hand on the brake, either brake, it will not go into park mode automatically. And then once you're done, you can just get back on and start riding. Let go of the brakes, and after a few seconds, it'll go into park mode. Just like that. So let's talk about the things where this scooter can be improved.
The other competitors in this space at this price point go about 40 to 43 miles per hour. So it would be nice just to have a little bit extra oomph. The other thing is it's not a dual motor scooter, so it's not going to climb hills as fast as other scooters. There's still plenty of power because the rear motor peaks out at 3,000 watts. So they've added an additional step to getting the top speed. You have to go in and customize your mode speed and change them so you can go to that full 37 miles per hour. So if you can't go the top speed, go check that thing out.
The scooter looks great, super sturdy, but the folding mechanism, we talked about this being a pro, it's also a con. The fact that it folds in the middle of the stem so high up, it makes it so that it's not very portable.
It weighs around 106 pounds, so it's not easy to lift up, especially by yourself. The horn, I do love that you can hold it for longer, but I do wish it was a motorcycle grade horn if you're going to be riding this on streets. I do wish there was a higher water resistance rating in the scooter. It's IPX4. But I feel like Segway is a little bit conservative with their number. And that's pretty much all I hate about this scooter, because they fixed the biggest issue I had with it, the price.
While we ride in this rain, we're gonna talk about who we think should get this scooter. Okay, we've been searching for some dry asphalt to do a brake test, and here we go. How does it feel?
Those are excellent. And so you can feel electric braking kick in, and the hydraulic brakes work extremely well because of the thick disc brakes.
And right there, you heard that beep. It was just engaging automatically into park mode. Kind of annoying, wish we could turn that off. The Segway GT1 is a super scooter, that's how it's advertised, but it's a super scooter light. And that's because it's only a single motor, it's not gonna be the fastest in the world, but for under $2,000, this is probably one of the most innovative, well-constructed scooters that we've ever tested. Who do you think should get this scooter, Andrew?
If you like the best tech, the finest craftsmanship, and don't want to spend over $2,000, the scooter's for you.
Leave the question in comments down below. Andrew and I will be there for the next few hours. And remember, when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.